Okay, good morning. We were discussing on the life testing methods and also quality management system. Okay, good morning. So, life testing is nothing but testing the life cycle or the life of a particular product or service. So, it is mainly done in three stages or three levels. First one is the burn-in testing, then test under the actual conditions, and accelerated live testing. So burn-in testing is nothing but the test which all tests are there in order to test for the life, which is conducted for the initial stages. Initial stages. So which all failures which may occur in the initial stages can be analyzed using the burn-in testing process, so this can be avoided. So the what are what all inherited errors are there that can be prevented using the burn-in testing. Then comes a test under the actual working conditions. So in the actual condition or in the actual working condition, actual scenario, which all test can be applied. So the main thing is, or the main disadvantage or limitation is that it is having uh, a lot of time or a lot of time consuming process or procedure, and so it is not practical or practically infeasible. Then finally we have seen the accelerated life cycle. So in order to minimize the time, what we do is we give some harsh environment, or we provide a severe operating conditions in order to quicken the response, or we can analyze the um failure patterns by making the condition more severe or harsher. So one such example is given, that is exposing a circuit to a huge voltage than the rated one, or subjecting the late to high vibrations than the standard value, so that the component will be failed before the intended time. So we are accelerating the procedure, that is the accelerated life testing. So these are the three life testing phases. Now we will move to another topic, that is quality management system. Quality management system. So what is a quality management system? Quality management system means it is nothing but quality is the conformance to the standard. So in order to manage the quality, to improve the quality, there is a set of formalized procedures, standard procedures, in order to manage the system, total system. So these are included in the quality management system. So quality management system is the set of formalized standard procedures which is documented for guiding all the operations within an organization. So within an organization, which all procedures are there, we formalize it, standard the procedures, and document it. This includes the quality management system. So it is a mechanism by which a company can organize and manage its resource to achieve, sustain, and improve the quality economically. So this is actually a mechanism which is adopted by every company. Why to organize that, or why to do this mechanism? In order to uh, organize and manage the resources. So which all resources are available for the particular company, they have to organize, manage it systematically in order to achieve achieve the quality, sustain the quality. That means it is to sustain the quality throughout the process, and also in case of any improvement needed, we have to improve the quality. How? Economically, by reduced cost. So this is the purpose of a quality management system. So ultimately, it is aimed at achieving the quality. So in order to achieve the quality, it is necessary to adopt the standard procedures and to make systematic control at every stage. So for every managing policies of the quality, what we need is we have to have a standard procedure. So we should have a standard procedure so that we can make a control which is systematic at each point of time, or at every stage we can be able to maintain a systematic control. Now, a good quality system covers all operations of the company, starting from the preparation of the tender to eventual delivery, installation, and after sales service. So, suppose if a system, it is a good quality system. If it is having a good quality system, that means it can cover all the operations like preparation of the stuff, starting from the preparation of tenders, from the preparation of the tender towards final thing, that is the delivery, in the delivery of the product, installation of the product or service, anything in the particular target area. And also after that many services to be given, so the after sale service, everything. So the quality should be there in every point of operation, that is in delivery, starting from preparation of the tender, order, placing of the order, then the delivery, installation, and after sale service. Throughout, the quality should be maintained. Next, implementing a quality maintenance service, management service affects every aspect of the organization's performance. So this may affect every aspect of the each and every aspect of the organization's performance. So it will affect the performance of the particular company. So these are the basic procedure of a quality management system. You can see from the flow chart. That is, first of all, we establish a quality policy. So for any company, there should be a quality policy. So that is to be established by the management or the top level coordinator. So they have to establish a quality policy initially. Then later they go for a quality system. Establish a quality system. Based on the policy, a quality system is established. Then identify the problem areas. So where next level we have to identify which are the problem areas or which are the problems. So by analyzing that, okay, after identifying the problem areas, then we move to prepare quality improvement program. So when the problem areas are identified, then we move to quality improvement programs. Many programs are there in order to improve the quality. So we set the or prepare the quality improvement programs. So after preparing the quality improvement programs, then we move to implementation. The which all the improvement programs are available, we choose the best from the alternatives, then implement it. So after once you implement the program, then we will monitor the progress, how much it is progressed, or what is the current status of the quality of a system, how it works. So the total monitoring will be done based on the implemented program. So after monitoring every performance and the process, everything is audited or review. So we make the audit and review of overall performance. So the overall performance is monitored, or we do the audit and review. So based on the review, if there is any improvement needed, or any change needed through the feedback, then it may go back. That is shown here to the step 2. That is, we re-establish the quality system based on the quality policy in order to get the required performance. Then the loop is repeated. So these are the basic procedure of a quality management system. So first of all, establish a quality policy. Then based on the quality policy, we establish a quality system. And after that, we identify the main problem areas. After finding or analyzing the problem areas, we prepare a quality improvement program. Now, from the quality improvement program, from many alternatives, we choose the apt program, implement it. After implementing the program, we monitor or analyze the progress, how it is going, whether it is going fine or not. So we monitor the progress of the process, sales, service, everything. After which we will move to the audit purpose, audit and review conducted for the overall performance. And based on the review, we, if any need, in case of any need, we re-establish the quality system based on the quality policy, though the loop is rotated. So these are the basic procedures of a quality management system. Now, so what are the benefits of a quality management system? So these are the basic benefits of a quality management system. So mainly it focus on the two aspects, like customer requirement and organization requirements. Both the requirements are satisfied. That is, from the customer point of view and also the organizational or company point of view. Both people's their requirements are satisfied. So how to? That is, first of all, regarding the customer requirement, using a good quality management system, it helps to install the confidence in the organization and leads to the more customers, more sales, and more repeat business. So while meeting the customer requirements, when the customer requirement are satisfied, when the customer is satisfied with this demand, then it will lead to more customers. So there will be more advertising from the existing customers. They will inform others also. So more and more customers will be attracted towards the service or attracted towards a particular organization or company, and they will be able to have more sales and also more repeat business. The same company or same customers will give the business repeatedly. For the next time also, they will give the order to the same company. So that's why more repeat business. Now regarding the organization, meeting the organization requirements, that will ensure the compliance with the regulations and providing products and services in the most cost and resource efficient manner. So while meeting the organization requirements, so through the good quality management system, the organization, once the organizational requirement is satisfied, which all requirements are there for the organization, once it is satisfied, then that ensures the compliance with the regulations. So many regulations are there associated with the organizational procedures. So these regulations will be compliance. So this will ensure the compliance with these regulations, and this will help in the most cost and resource efficient manner. So cost efficient and resource efficient manner, and that will helps in expansion, growth, and profit. So expansion of the business, growth of the business, and also profit generation. Everything will be possible through good quality management system. So these are all about the quality management system. Now we'll move to the next topic. Okay, just wait. It will come. Next is ISO, International Organization for Standardization. So, while within the country, within the our own country, the exchange of goods or service, everything, it will be not an issue, big deal. Okay, so in case of an international exchange or for if the products and services we are making or producing, if we are exchanging with the other country, then we should have a international standard. So based on the standards, some certain standards or standard procedures, policies, we have to develop the particular product in order to make it available to the international market. So one such organization is ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization. So this is a non-governmental organization, mainly intended to promote the development of standardization to facilitate the international exchange of goods and service. That means, in order to facilitate the exchange of within the international level, exchange of the goods and service within the international level, what is the standardization procedure or the organization, which all organization which is intended, mainly intended to standardize the procedure, that is ISO. So this is some of the history behind it. That is, it is formed in 1946 in Geneva, Switzerland. Mainly, it's composed of 163 member countries, including our country. So the members of ISO are recognized standard authorities, which also represent their respective nations. So which are maybe now it stipulates the certain management practices to be followed for making products and services conforming to the need of the customers. So through this procedure, ISO, that means it is a standardization procedure. So in this procedure or ISO, there are certain management practices. It will tell the management practices, which all practices to be followed in order to make a particular product or avail a particular service which is conforming to or based on the customer needs. So the products or services should be made in a particular manner, in this manner, that will be told by the practice or the management or based on the certain standards. So ISO standards give the specification of products, services, and system to ensure the quality, safety, and efficiency. So in order to maintain a standard for the quality, safety, and efficiency in the international level, what we do is ISO set a particular standard or give some specification as of how much how the product should be, or what is the standard value of certain parameters, or the product specification. It will be given by or set by the ISO. So based on certain standard, if ISO 900, based on that, these are the values, and like that there will be some standard. So based on the standard, it will be having some certain specification in order to ensure the quality, safety, and efficiency. So these are helpful in facilitating the international trade. So in case of international trade or the trade among the nations, countries, it will be helpful, more helpful. So these are all, every country, if they are following a particular standard, then it will ultimately help in the exchange of the goods and services within the different countries. So ISO has published 22,480 international standards and related documents covering almost every industry, from technology to food safety to agriculture and healthcare. So for wide variety of applications like technology, in case of technology, or food safety, or agriculture, healthcare, anywhere it is adopted, ISO is adopted. So in order to have quality, so for the quality of every applications or every areas are there. Now one of the ISO, that is ISO 9000, we'll see what are the features. So total quality system is open for the verification by the customer, so that the confidence is built in the customer as he is aware of the logical series of processes involved in the production. So here, using the ISO 9000, the customer knows what are the process involved, or what is the quality procedure. Everything is transparent, so they can verify the process, or so the customers will be more and more satisfied or attracted towards the product. So once the product, any product is given, you can see it is certified ISO something like that. So if it is certified like that, then they will have a idea that is this much quality is there, or it should follow a certain procedure in order to get this certificate. So the product will be reliable in his point of view. So it integrates all the activities which will have direct or indirect influence on the quality of the product. So this may integrate all the activities which have the direct or indirect influence on the quality of the product. The standard will be formulated by the people who are familiar with the problems and failures which occur in the industries. So the standards, which all standards are there according to the ISO 9000, that is formulated by the people using their previous experience or knowledge. So they have worked in the industries in very different environments. So they know the process, procedures, and the cause of failures like that. So based on their experience and knowledge, they formulate certain standards. So they are the one who prepare the standards. So this can be applied to both big as well as small organizations. So everywhere it can be applied, and this makes sure that the final product meets the customer requirements. So if there is a standard ISO certification, then it will be helpful, or it makes sure that the final product meets the customer requirements. And there are no dictatorial clauses in the standard. Most companies is directed to establish its own procedure. So there is no written clauses, or there is no written procedures. The company by its own can make the procedures or set the standard procedures. and according to the quality pattern or the ISO standard. So in order to have the certification, that later we will see how it is certified. There are certain audit policies, audit procedures are there. There are external agencies are there, certification agencies are there. They will come and have some audit, or they will review the procedure, after which the certification will be provided. Anyway, this is not compulsory. There are only voluntary. If it is there, means it will be better. So these are the main benefits of ISO 9000. So first of all, ISO 9000 series of standards. So it is a series of standards, 9000 series, that is 9000, 9001, like that. So 9000 series of standards enables to meet the requirements of an internationally uniform quality system. So it may help in the requirement of a international uniform quality system. So there will be a uniformity in the quality system while exchanging the goods and service within the or without within the countries. Then it gives a international recognition. So the particular product or service will be recognized internationally if it is certified. Then consistent dissemination of the information. So we disseminate each information into parts and analyze it. So there is a consistent dissemination. Now it encourages the making use of statistical analysis wherever necessary. So we have seen many statistical methods and all. So the statistical analysis will be there, or this certification encourages making use of this particular statistical analysis, and then improves the customer confidence and hence the satisfaction. So ISO 9000 implementation, by implementing the ISO 9000, it improves the customer confidence. The customer will have more confidence to purchase the particular product having certified ISO or certified by ISO. So that may improve the customer satisfaction. So more and more business will be given to the particular company. And also improvement in the productivity. The productivity will be improved if the quality is improved. So by ISO standards, they will be able to improve the quality and also the productivity. So while improving the quality, what we can see is we can reduce the wastage. So then ISO changes the attitude of the worker, improving the productivity. So the total attitude of the workers also will be improved while we standardize the procedures. So the attitude will be changed, and that helps in improving the productivity. So everything depends on the workers. So if they are improved, then the productivity also increases. And finally, one more, that is, it encourages the improvement in all areas, not only a single area, but the total improvement is done using the ISO. So these are the key benefits of ISO. Now there are some disadvantages and all that we will see in the next class. Anyway, I think this is the last one. Okay, we'll discuss it also. So these are the main disadvantages. First one, it is time consuming. There are many procedures involved in certification and all. Audit is to be conducted for the certification and everything, and also to maintain the standards. So usually, I think it is 5 year duration is given, or for many thing we have certain time interval for, or the validity of the certification will be for some time. Anyway, the process is totally a time consuming procedure, and also the assessment and registration is very expensive. So lakhs of amount will be spent for the assessment or registration purpose. Next, unless carefully interpreted and planned, the system can be expensive and sometimes can affect the normal operations. So this need a careful interpretation. Careful interpretation or planning is needed. Otherwise, the cost will go high, or it may affect the normal operating procedures. Then, while adopting a adopting or implementing ISO, what happens is we have to totally change from the existing pattern or everything, the working standards. According to the new standard, we have to set the procedures. So what happens is this may not be feasible in all cases. So workers may prevent doing that. They may not be easy to switch over to the new system. So many problems will be there. They will hesitate to work in a new fashion. That is a usual trend. So these are the main disadvantages of ISO 9000. Now, these are the steps to certification. So I think better it will be dealt in the next class.